Good morning.
Hey, Sean, you're the only one. Is it?
Yeah, I'm the only
Yeah,
one today.
okay. All right. We can start in 5 or 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure people will join soon.
Yeah, yeah.
How's it
Maybe it'll
going?
be a one-on-one lesson today.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll be just one-on-one. Yeah, that's fine. Um,
Doing good. Yeah.
are you on? You started questing already, right? You're on quest number
Yeah, I'm on quest three.
three. Yeah, yeah, great.
Yeah, I finished two and I'm on three now.
Yeah, I think quite a few of you are on three. I think I saw a post by Kylie on Starling, and Keenan is still working on something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Ashwat.
Hey, Professor, how you doing?
Good, thanks. People are just laid back. They're saying
Yeah.
we can come whenever. So you know what we should do is we should basically just start. One of you should start coding, and we can start on something, and they'll say, hey, next class we've got to turn up sooner.
Yeah, we could start in like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Why don't you? Let's see. Either of you, preferably Kai, because Kai hasn't taken the screen before. Well, now he's connected to audio. All right. So maybe one of you can take the screen in 5 minutes. Maybe Kai. Otherwise, I think Ashwat or on is
Okay.
anyone
Yeah.
else. That's fine. But yeah, whoever is here. And I had some ideas. You know what? I thought, last quarter we tried to do something. I think it was on a later lecture, right? Later, meaning not, but I saw no reason why we shouldn't do that right now, because I don't think there were any new skills we used there that we don't have to use now. It's a fun little thing. I think we can do it, okay? Because I think you have all the things that you need. There's one more thing that you guys need to do that. And that, well, you don't need it, but I think let's make it that way. So it's made a fun little game, right? You guys make a fun little game today, and you can actually share it with your friends too, right? So
Okay.
the ability to read a file, right? You don't even have to write a file. Ability to read your contents from a file on disk, right? Once you have that, I think you have a great deal of power already to do what a lot of things in C++. Yes, because you could write a program that could take a file, read its contents, do something with it, and print a result. Yes. So I think it's not. I think I saw it in the state descriptor for this class, but I don't see it in the syllabus. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch upon it anyway. Because I think people who put it in the state descriptor put it there for a reason, right? They've looked at data from lots and lots of students from you, like you, and so I think this is probably, and besides, in my intuition tells me that this ought to be something that is easy to pick up and learned early on.
Hey,
All right.
Professor.
Yes, Keenan, you have a
question
about your quest?
Yes.
Yes.
So
You got to figure it out, okay? They are different. They got to be exactly the same, even things that you don't see.
No. So when I'm submitting it now, it's only showing my draw cat on the test output.
Hey, yeah. Okay, I saw that. You posted about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a bit strange. Okay, it's strange. I want to see what's going on. Let me I'll remind myself. Okay, at the end of this class, because I saw that and I said, why aren't you seeing it? You at least got to see my signature or something at the bottom, saying that's all, right? On this page.
On the build message, yeah.
No, on the build. Even on the test, I thought, oh, maybe I'm not on test. I don't know.
No, on test it just shows like testing draw cat. It doesn't even say like.
Yeah, that's why I think something funny there. That's funny there, because the test pages, I'm pretty sure I had some kind of an end marker, right? It said that's it, you're done, or something like that. I would print something, or at least my signature, or something like that. And since that's not there in what you posted, I was a little curious. And then I forgot that I wanted to look at it. So thank you for bringing it up. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll take a look at it today.
I'll probably remember at the end of class. I'll say.
Yeah,
something.
if I don't get back to you on that, feel free to ping me. And actually, you can ping me on Reddit, right? Hey, and then tag me with my username on
Okay.
Reddit and say, hey, do you know what the hell is going on? Yeah, and then I'll take a look immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, that's strange. However, in response to your other actual question, I think I know what's going on now. Okay, I think I know what's going on. Right. But I just have to verify that suspicion. But your lines are too different. Every single line you print is different from what I expect.
Yeah, I need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's easy, right? If so that's what I said. If what you see don't make no sense, consider your eyes, because what you don't is often where its gift of vision lies, right? So just look at what you cannot see and say what could possibly be different between the two, right? And so anyway, so where I was going with that was so there is a difference in the two, but I think what I'm doing is that if the output is so wildly different, I'm not printing anything and crapping out right away. But I shouldn't do that, right? I should say something before I say your output is too different from what I expect, or something like that. I do say that in quest number 3 onwards, I think, but I should say it. Absolutely, I should say it. Thanks. And by the way, why is the forum so quiet? Because a few people, Sean, Ashwath, Keenan, and Kylie, who else? I don't remember.
I see Van a lot.
Yeah, Van recently, yeah. But more of you should be active and on the forums and helping each other out, because next quarter I'm going to say I'm going to change my syllabus next quarter. I'm going to say the subreddits are off limit until you complete a quest, right? So you cannot look at the subreddit at all for past solutions for, let's say, Fangs until you finish Fangs, right? Well, maybe not Fangs, let's say from the next one onwards, because it's not so much in cs2a, but I think in cs2b I'm finding it hard to distinguish between students who are actually learning the material and students who miraculously get the right answer in the first try. And I don't know, right? So I don't know, because the subreddits are there and so solutions are out there for anything you want, really. An instructor can't tell if they actually picked up a solution from elsewhere. So that's why these internships that I'm going to offer at non-linear media, that person would have completed all the quests using some trackable ID all the way through, so I can see. So by the time you have an interview, if you're interested at non-linear media, we'd already know you're a rock star. So we don't have to examine your technical depth anymore. We can just look at what you want to do and what some of the things that I'm doing, and saying are they in alignment? That's all. Anyway, what time is it now? 8:10. We can start coding. Kai, are you still having breakfast, or can you switch your camera, use a computer at some point?
Yeah, sorry, I just eat breakfast like around 8. So
you can't take the computer right now?
Oh no, I completely can.
Yeah, okay, all right, cool. You can take the screen. Jennifer, also sometime later, you should remember to take the screen, right? And code. Most of you here have had a chance. Okay, Kai is the only one right now, and you, Jennifer. Yeah, go for it, Kai. Just take the screen, open up an editor. What I'll show you, actually go to that thing. Keenan, hey Keenan, can you take over that page again and set up everybody?
The coding rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Thanks.
send the link
Hey,
in the
Van.
chat too?
Give me like 3 minutes.
No worries. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay. Very soon in your quests, you write functions and methods that will start generating interesting things. Okay. You'll start by generating random pronounceable names. Okay. Around quest 7 or so, 6 or 7. You're going to start making names out of thin air, right? Just pronounceable names. And eventually, I don't know, Actually, you never get to do that, but the questioning system does that in the background. It needs to manufacture lots and lots of nonsense sentences, right? Because if sentences are the bread and butter of data, really, right? If you want to like lorem ipsum or whatever that thing is, people put in blog things. So you're going to write some programs that's going to generate sentences. So I do, because to test your code. So I thought, why not you guys do it? Okay, so I'll get you started on that front today. If you like, it's very easy. And today, I think, hopefully, what time is it now? It's only 8:13, right? We have more than an hour, right? If we stick through with this, we'd actually be able to complete this and actually run this entire game, right? Package, we can create a package, and I think it'll be really cool. Are you game with this? Are you game for this? Yeah, is that okay? All right, great. So let's go to coding rooms after Keenan's set up. And then what we'll do first is only one person, okay? Only me and Kai, and the rest of you can create your, Keenan.cpp, Sean.cpp, etc. Afterwards. Once Kai and I are done with the basic template, right? So what we'll do first is create a file with about 10 words in it, okay? 10 words, and on the shell. I'll show you how to do it. Very easy, one line, okay? On the shell command. So, and then what we're going to do in our program is going to read all the lines in that file into an array, okay? So here, in this process, we're going to learn a couple of really cool and interesting things that you can start using from day one, right? These are basic bricks you can start using. And then now at this point, you have every single thing you need to make something really good, right? So, sometimes some of these things you're going to make will take you more time, depending on your level of expertise, right? Maybe a bit more pain to learn a few more things along the way, but you know what to do and what has to be done and what has to be done there, right? So these are the building blocks you need. And along the way, you can learn more to simplify some things and make things easier for yourself. But you can go from end to end from what you have now. Okay, all right. So Keenan's just sent a link. So Kai, if you click on that and then share your screen, make sure it's an anonymous window browser. Yeah, is it an anonymous browser? Private window? Hey, Kai.
Yeah, sorry, how do I make it anonymous?
Yeah, kill it first.
Okay.
All right. Now, I think, is this a Mac or a PC?
It's a Mac.
Okay, so, and it's Chrome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Chrome, hit Command-Shift-N, Command-Shift-N.
Sorry, M or N?
N, new.
Okay.
Command-N is new window, Command-Shift-N is new private window.
Okay. Yeah, I pulled it up.
Now you can share that in Zoom.
Okay.
And then I think you may have to copy and paste Keenan's link now because it's not actually, technically, you should be able to right-click on it and say open in new incognito window, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because it should be possible.
I don't see that option, but I just copy and pasted it. So.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, Jennifer, are you here?
Yeah.
You have to call, talk or something, interject and say, okay or something, okay? Because otherwise, I don't know. Thanks.
Were you talking to me? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, to you. You feel free to talk anytime, ask questions, so that, especially if your camera's off.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yuhao, you too. Yuhao, are you there? Okay. All right. So Keenan, thank you, Yuhao. All right. Hey, Keenan, let's go to Kai. What is it? Kai. Yeah, Kai. Oh, you copied his file? That's great. Great. Okay. Actually, you know what? You renamed his original file and left the copy for him.
Oh, I can get rid of the last one too.
That's okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do, right? So put a comment there saying, today we'll experiment with reading the contents of a file, right, into an array of lines. Okay. So this is going to be the basis of our game. So here's what I'm thinking about for this game. Okay. And you guys can tell me if it's wrong, because this is what we tried to do last quarter. I think in a later lecture, we didn't manage to finish it. But I think this time we have a good chance. Is it today, Thursday? Thursday, next week is functions. Yeah. We can actually carry this over into next week too, if it spills over, which I doubt highly, right? So today we'll experiment with reading contents of a file into an array. Skills needed, colon. Skills needed, colon. Oh, another comment. Thank you. Skills needed, and then you can say these are what we need to brush up on, right? Colon. Okay, now let's say file IO, because you're going to reading from a file, right? Or file input. Just a file input, right? Does that make sense? Or input from a file? You think what makes better sense? Input from a file or file input?
I think input from a
Yeah,
file.
input from a file makes
input
sense.
from a file. I think that makes better sense. Okay, and then while looping. Shall we use branching? Yeah, let's use branching. Okay, branching. What are the other skills? Arrays. Okay, so all right, this is really cool, isn't it? It takes you all the way up to the midterm. So if you're a master of this game before the midterm class, if you just master this along with a little bit of knowledge about functions that we'll cover next class, next week, you're in total shape for the midterm, right? You can basically ace the class. So all right, so this is all we're going to use in this in this little program today. All right, so open up a let's see what we're going to do. We're going to read a file. Okay, so open up a comment saying we'll read a file right from our main method here as an example. Okay, and then maybe we'll have to delete it later or rename it and so on. We'll use the same program. Okay, I'll show you how to write it in main and then move that into a function and so on. That's really cool. We'll actually see the program grow organically, right, all the way from here. So you can play the video from the beginning and see how it grows. That's really good. Good experiment. All right, so break that comment down. So make that part of the actual program now. That line, you make it, yeah. All right, cool. Now do your above the comment there, you put the standard stuff like a hash include IO stream and using namespace standard. I think those are, and we'll need one more. I'll show you what that is. Okay, hash include IO stream. One more thing we need is hash include F stream. Change the IO into an F. All right, so that is another library of methods that C++ has given us. It's saying IO deals with console IO, yeah, but F deals with file IO, right? So you can get a stream which points to a file. Maybe tomorrow you're going to write something like a S stream, a satellite stream, or something like that, right? And you're going to, and the beauty of these things is that with these libraries, doesn't matter if it's C++ or any language really, the way that the standards are being established, right? Is that you only need to know how to interact with a stream, and then instantly the system will take care of routing your message either to a console or to a file or to a satellite, orbiting Jupiter. You don't have to worry about any of these things. You just say, I want to send a message to Jupiter, right? And you can operate at that level. How cool is that, right? So and the fact that IO stream was introduced first, or in most textbooks too, right? Get familiar with IO stream, right? Get familiar with reading and writing to a console, because that's 90% of what you're going to be doing to a file anyway. So once you're happy with playing around with a file, the console, it's exactly the same thing as you're going to see, right? So and put a comment after that saying this is the analog. On line 5, thank you. Yeah, line 5. Yeah, put a comment saying analog of console IO for files. Does that make sense, right? And you guys should feel free to correct these comments because I'm telling you the comments based on a teacher's perspective. Yes. However, I may be missing a lot of things that a student may need, right? From that thing. So if you understand something here that you think is going to benefit students that I'm not asking you to put in the comments, or if you think that a certain comment is so obvious for students, it doesn't need to be spelled out, you should just tell me, okay? So I'm just saying, this is what I think you guys need, okay? Is that okay with you guys? Can I just take that liberty and just say what I want to type and you should tell me, okay? All right, great. And then hit an enter after that. right? Yeah, all right, good. So now we're going to do using namespace. Yeah, one more blank line and say using namespace. Yeah, using namespace. No, so after that you have to say space std. This will all become reflex, okay? Like, I think Zane was, had this muscle memory. Semicolon, yeah, all the also that will also become a reflex, okay? All right, good. Yeah, any question? Sorry, Sean? No, I thought I heard someone say something. All right, now let's go to line 10. Let's go to line 10 and open our main, a standard main, right? The usual thing that we're going to do is main, open, close, and then, squiggly, and put a space between the squiggly and the closing. Yeah, that's great. Nice. Looks much nicer. Okay, so this is our main. Put a return 0 also at the end. So we actually have a functioning program right now. All right, now we're going to fill in the part above main, and here we're going to say we're going to open a file and read it. But where is this file we're going to read? So we'll just imagine that this file is going to exist in the current directory. In this directory, we're going to create a file, right? And let's say we're going to read a file. What's the syntax for this? I think it's ifstream. Okay, so I say ifstream. So all right, well, we'll find out. Okay, we'll Google it if not. Yeah. Okay, and then this is a space ifs. This is a variable name, right? I'm just calling it like c out or whatever it is, right? Some guy said, iostream c out, right? So we're going to call it c in. We'll call it f in, like file in, right? No. We'll just call it not ifs. We'll call it f in instead of c in. F in. So I'm just trying to use names that will kind of ring a bell. You're used to c in. I'm saying f in instead. Yeah, is that okay? So the only danger is that fin is a word, okay? So we shouldn't think of fin. But since, I don't know. All right, fin equals, no, fin open parentheses, and this is the name of the file we'll use, okay? All right, so open parentheses and within quotes. This is the name of the file we're going to use. We're going to read from, okay? Within quotes, say dot, which is a current directory, slash kai, K-A-I, slash numbers.txt. We'll just create a file with, numbers. It was going to create a text file in a directory called kai in the current directory. Yes. And we'll fill it with a bunch of numbers. Let's say 10 numbers or something. We'll do that, right? Okay. Semicolon after that.
After this.
Yeah. And get to the next line. All right, now the beauty of that one line, okay, that's all you have to remember, okay? The beauty of that one line is that from that point onwards, you can treat f in exactly the same way as you would treat c in, except that what it gives you is not going to come from the keyboard, it's going to come from the file. That's all, right? So that is the core piece of information we need about file streams, okay? So because it's connected, that call, the library makes sure that the thing is connected, the endpoint is connected. We get a socket or whatever it is. We're talking to the network or to a file or to the console or to a device. It's all the same. We don't have to care. We just talk to that connection, the endpoint, because we know how to talk to the endpoint only. So that fstream thing does all the magic for us behind the background and says, from this point onwards, you can use fin as though it's a regular socket. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
All of you, okay, not just Kai, because he's typing, he's feeling obliged to say yes, but everybody should say, at least raise your hand, yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes some sense.
Okay, all right, thanks. We're going to move on. All right, now all we're going to do is get to the next line, right? And after fstream say user, after user says string space line, okay, say string space line. Next line, string, string, space line, semicolon, and then remove the blank line above that because that's part of those are the two variables I think we need to use, okay? Oh, we need an array of lines. Okay, all right, I'm going to introduce vectors here, okay? So on the next line after string space line, okay, we're going to say vector, okay, open, don't have a space there, okay? Less than sign, less than, okay? No, you don't have a parentheses, just a less than.
Oh.
Okay, so it's a weird syntax, but it's really good to, don't have a space before the vector, because if you have a space, it looks like less than.
Okay, sorry.
It's a template operator, okay. String, okay, close. space lines. Okay, all right, semicolon there. Now, in order to be able to use this fancy package called vector, which is basically just an array under covers, and I'll show you, right? I'll show you where it is and how to look at the array and so on if you're interested. Okay, we need to use, our C++ designers, pre-designed library of vector calls. Okay, so go right to the top under F stream on line 6, say hash include vector, just like that. Is everybody following along? Right? If it's too fast or too slow, someone has to speak up, okay? Because I don't want anyone to get bored and drop off, or just give up and drop off. So, okay, Van is the only one who's responded so far.
No, I'm following along.
Yes.
All right, Ashwath, Keenan, everybody okay? You
Yeah,
have
I'm good.
Brian, right? June.
Yep.
Okay, you got to talk, okay? Because your
Could you
camera's not
explain?
turned on.
Sorry, could you explain what vector string lines does? again?
Yes, that I will do very soon. Okay.
Awesome.
Are vectors and arrays the same thing?
Yes, vectors and
Okay.
arrays, same thing. However, here's a cool thing, okay? Let's say you want an array of integers. You're going to say on the next line, let's type something and we'll have to erase it, okay? Because it's not going to be part of the program. I'm just typing it in and Kai is helping me explain this, okay? So on the next line, one more blank line here, right? And then put a comment saying, ignore this, we're just, playing around to explain a concept, okay? Put a comment. Yeah. Okay, so if we wanted an array of integers, okay, you'd say int space my integers, my underscore integers square 10 or something like that. Yes. Now suppose you wanted an array of 10 strings. Oh, square bracket 10. Sorry, square
Oh, sorry.
bracket. Yeah, no, that's okay. I wasn't looking, right? Semicolon. Okay, and then you can put a comment saying that's how I get an array of 10 integers. Yeah, and then what you can do is, triple click on the line, and then while it's still blue, no, that's 4. But yeah, while it's still blue, hit two command V's. Wow, what happened? Oh, I'm sorry. Undo. Command Z one more time. All right, now Command C first. Copy it into your clipboard, and then two Command V's. One more. All right, now change my integers to my strings. Okay, my strings, and then change that into and then the third comment, and you can put a comment after that saying etc. Okay, so this is how we get different arrays of different types, right? However, suppose you have a bunch of methods that you have written, right, that operate on arrays, and you also wanted to operate on strings, and you want those methods to operate on. You want those functions that you've got to operate on the array, regardless of what the array contains, right? Whether it contains a double or a array of characters, array of integers, doubles, floats. I just want to have a sum of all of the contents, right? Maybe I have a function. Yes. Ideally, you want to write one function that can operate on all of the arrays, all of them, right? Yes or no?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So if that is the case, I don't want to have the overhead of saying, well, I want an array of energy. So vector said, okay, there's a whole bunch of functions that people use on arrays all the time, right? Regardless of the type, whether it's a string array or a number array or an array of pets, an array of complex objects, doesn't matter, right? There is some subset of those functions that is common to all of them. Right, because for example, addition. I can say, well, for all numerical arrays, I can do a plus, but I can't do a plus on string arrays. Well, technically I can, but if I define plus to be concatenation, but I can do plus on something else, right? On colors, for example. So, I'm going to say that so let's forget about plus because plus cannot be a native property that I'm going to do for free for anyone who uses my kind of array. So I'm going to create my kind of array that is going to support a bunch of operations that is 90% common among all of the array users. There's going to be a remaining 10% that you can do for yourself. Are you following my reasoning so far? Because I'm basically laying the motivation for why someone took it upon themselves to create a class called vector when, we could have just used arrays. Yes. All right. So this is the programmer's thinking. Yeah. So this is what the programmer is thinking. So they're saying, well, I have all these friends, right? And I see all of them wasting like a ton of their time writing these functions for arrays that they don't have to, because one guy has to do it and everybody can do the same thing. So why don't I be that person? So they wrote vector, okay, and said, hey guys, now you can just go and chill for your 90% of the time, just go to the park and chill. Okay, so you only need 10% of your cycles now, or do whatever you want for the rest. So because they've given, so that is what vector is. So in order to make that possible for you, they said, you know what, we've got something called templates in C++, which you will only teach your cs2b students 2b, right, not 2a. But until then, let them just use templates blindly. Okay, what a template does is basically do at the compile level what the compiler is going to do to your language at the syntactic level. What that means is that your compiler is going to translate your C++ program into machine code. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, your compiler, before compiling, is going to translate your code and look for all these special tags like hash include, and also these are called template tags, vector, string. Yes.
Mhm.
Now what the compiler is going to do at that point, right, before it actually compiles your code, is internally invisible to you, right? Nobody sees it. Actually, all of that happens in memory, right? You can only see it if you're actually the CPU and you actually see that happening in front of your eyes. Otherwise, nobody sees it. Not even the programmer sees it. Okay. So when it sees that tag, the compiler is going to create a new class. Bam, like that. All right. So go under vector string lines. Yeah. Hit enter. Right now, put another comment there. Right. And say when the pre-compiler sees the above declaration, it is going to automatically create a class for us. Yeah, go to the next line. Go to the next line. Yeah, enter. Yeah, called, right? Within quotes, just, hey, I don't know, just all right, call something like, let's say call something like, no, not within quotes, just say call something like vector, what is it called? Yeah, vector string, vector underscore string. No, vector underscore string. Or you can say special vector underscore string. You can just call it special vector underscore string, right? So it's just going to create a class for you. When it looks at the template direction, the template directive, it is going to freely create a class for you. It's a full class. You're going to be creating these classes. We haven't even talked about classes yet, okay? But this will all come back to you, right? So you don't have to remember. You don't have to actively remember what I said. It's all going to be on on YouTube anyway. But when you create a class, you're going to be creating many classes of your own. You're going to create class Chi, class Pat, XYZ. You're going to be creating stacks, lists. So you're going to be creating these classes in cs2a. The compiler but then the creation of the class itself, you'll see after a while, there are so many classes you're going to create that you'll see a routine. Okay, I got to do this again and again. So you'll start wondering, can I just use a template for this? Yes. After we do some things a little while, you say, well, it's starting getting boring, man. Do you have a boilerplate? Yeah. So that's what we're going to ask, right? And when we ask that question, the C++ says, yes, we do have a boilerplate, right? This is the boilerplate. Okay. So the boilerplate is put that thing there. Okay. And then this compiler will automatically generate a boilerplate class for you. And the beauty of the boilerplate is that once you have that class, that lines, right? Now lines is actually an array of vector of strings. Now, all right. So now, on the next line, you can say that means we have created a variable called lines, which is an array of strings, basically an object of type vector underscore string. Yeah. And on the next line, you can say basically an object of type vector underscore string. Now, that is the long-winded answer to what man asked, is saying, vector underscore that thing, what does it mean? Now, does that make any sense? Right? Yeah, I had to go do this only because you asked that question, man. Okay, so, but I hope the digression was useful. And because, I think that, some of it may not have been relevant right now, but I know it's all going to be relevant in cs2a, right? If it's only until cs2b, maybe I wouldn't have talked about it, but this is going to be relevant in just 2 weeks. Okay, so advancing a topic by 2 weeks is not going to be a big deal. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Cool, cool, cool.
All right, thank you. Great. Is everybody okay now? We have got a free vector of strings. We have created an array of strings by using that keyword. The compiler has taken over and created an array for us, along with a whole bunch of functions that we're going to be using on the array, regardless of what the type is. And we're going to be using them right now. I'll show you. Okay, so now let's go back to line number 21. Oh, we need to get rid of that stuff, right? Ignore. Yeah, get rid of that. Yeah, get rid of all that.
Delete it.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep our code clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I put a comment there saying we're going to read f in into a line until it runs out, and stuff line into our lines array if we're successful. Yeah, go to the next line. Is everybody okay so far? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, great. So let's create a really tight while loop right there on the next line. You say while, open parentheses, all right? F in double greater than, you know what? A double greater than is, well, in this case, it'll work. All right, you'll be bidden. What we'll do is do the usual, get the entire line, which is we'll say while get line.
Wait, do I change it?
Yeah. Get line, open parentheses, F in. I think that's a syntax. Someone should verify this. F in comma line. Okay. What get line does is it'll take a descriptor of a socket, right? Some kind of endpoint like this, a stream, a buffered stream. It will read from that stream, and whatever it gets in that stream until the end of line, okay, it'll catch and then stuff into the second parameter, which you're giving it as an empty box, saying, hey, here's a box, put what you got from the stream into this box. Does that make sense? GetLine is a function given to us from the IO library that already does that. It gets the entire line, right? Yeah, so if you did, thank you, Jen. So if you did just double greater than C and double greater than F and you'll see there's a bug there, right? Not a bug, right? That is not the right way to do it. It won't get the entire line. It'll just get one word. Yeah, but so many people intending to get the line, entire line will just say double greater than, and they'll be bidden because the double greater than only gets the entire word. In fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, it'll even leave the new line behind. Right, so all kinds of crazy things happen if you use double greater than when we don't when we want the entire line. Okay, so this is what we're going to do on the next line. Yeah, indent in, and say lines dot push. All right, open parentheses, line, semicolon. That's it. Okay. So let's start a comment after that. Let's on line 26, let's say, right?
Wait, do we need brackets for the while loop or?
No, because there's only one statement. You don't need brackets. How cool is that, right? So yeah, really nice. In fact, I have so many very, very tight loops like this. I have seen some programmers basically just put the same thing, whole thing on one line, as though, once people see the first 10 characters, they know what the rest of the whole block is going to be. So they can just read the program really fast. So I've seen the whole thing, many idioms like that. C programmers, C++ programmers take the liberty of assuming that other people also know. And they'll do things like that to ease their own lives, assuming that it'll ease other people, assuming that everybody thinks like them, I guess. At some point it's true for programmers. All right. Okay, good. All right, that's it. So let's start a comment there. And this comment is going to be the above two lines read the entire contents of the file. What is that file? That thing, whatever we called it, right? Of the file into the array buried inside our vector lines. Does that make sense? Is the comment self-explanatory for someone who's just following Kai's code without listening to me?
Oh, wait, sorry, I missed the last part.
Yeah, all right. So the above two lines read the entire contents of the file into the array buried inside our vector, comma. What is the name of our vector? Lines, vector, comma, lines. All right, so is that comment self-explanatory enough, right? Because you got to think about this from the perspective of someone who's got the audio muted and just watching Kai type, right? Or basically fast forwarding to see what Kai's got in the comments and following the code. Does it make sense? Can everybody follow?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Definitely.
All right, so the same thing can be accomplished using native arrays, right? So yeah, put a period there on the period there, start a new comment after a blank line. Yeah, put a blank line there actually. Yeah, the same thing can be done the hard way maybe. Let's call it the hard way, using native arrays maybe. How would you do dynamic sizing with native arrays? All right, so if we wanted to do with native arrays, I'll show you what you have to do, right? If you wanted to, right? Wow, okay, so here is the thing, right? Just by using vector, we have simplified our life so much. So I don't even know if we want to go into the details of how we could do it with native arrays, because I'll tell you what vector is doing. How about this, right? It's much harder. Just say it'll be much harder. Unfortunately, you have to listen to the audio to find out, okay? So, and I'll tell you what's going on. What does vector do, right? That has what otherwise we would be doing, okay? Okay, all right. So, all right, so audio bookmark here. Now, here's the cool thing about when we do this, when we got this vector, okay, we got an array technically of 0 size. Yes, because we didn't tell it how big we wanted it. We just said, give me an array of strings. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so what it did was just gave you, well, you want an array of strings? Maybe you can have it here. And it didn't even check. It just found some blank location in memory. Okay, it may even be occupied. Yeah, yeah, well, maybe it's not occupied by something else. It just gave you some location in memory. It says, well, your array starts at room number 55. Okay, it just gave you that address. Now, so right, so assuming we're not using vectors, okay. However, the first item, we read the first item because we don't know how many lines are there in the file. Because if someone told us the file had 50 lines, yes, then we can say, give me an array of 50 lines. But we didn't know. We're going to keep reading and stuffing. Yes, because there's a lot of subtleties and important things we're doing here as a programmer, right? Not even just learning C++. And I think these are important to know, right? Because there's trade-offs that you make, trade-offs that you leverage from the vector library and so on. Okay, so what's going on here is that you don't know. You just got given a 0-sized vector. Nothing can go in there. You just got a blank memory address. Okay, the first item came along. Now you know that the file has at least 1 line in it. Right? Because you didn't know. It could have been an empty file. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So it actually had 1 line in it. But you go and take that line and stuff it in memory and you see that, well, you know what? The first time I chose that memory location, it wasn't big enough for this guy. So I got to move it to not from room 55 to room 5000 where the rooms are bigger. Yes? Okay. So you're going to move it to room 5000. And do it there, and you're going to update a whole bunch of things so that the next time an array reference happens, it happens to room 5000, not to room 50 anymore. Yes, that is called reallocation. That itself is a little bit of a pain. Yes.
Sounds like
a lot of that the operating system can handle, because if you have a native array which is on the heap, not on the stack, right? So we haven't talked about heap. If you have a native array on the heap, and you tell the operating system, I want to grow the array like this, right? Okay, and cannot grow it in place. So the operating system's memory mapper does fabulous, interesting, ingenious things, okay, to make sure that the whole damn thing is moved somewhere else to a completely different segment, okay, where the room to grow is much bigger, but you won't know any difference, okay? You can still access it using the same pointer that you had before to the same room number. In other words, you can say, right, even though I've moved from room 55 to room 5000, the programmer does not need to know. The programmer says, okay, take this and put it in room 55 and it's bigger, but the operating system can take care. Well, you know what? I remember I moved all 55 to 5,000, so I can do it. Yes, does that make sense? So that memory mapping happens at the operating, but even then, okay, see, that is the beauty of these things, right? There's so much we take for granted without gratitude, I think, right? Because there's so much hard work and a sweat of love. Okay, let me put it that way, because there's so much people have thought about all of these downstream programmers like you and me, and your people that you teach, right? And thought, those guys need to have the liberty to do whatever the hell they want. Okay, so let's try and make as much as possible automatic for them. If the machine can do something, let's get the machine to do it. So that has been the overriding philosophy all along, right? Not do it in an inefficient way, right? Still efficient way, but let's automate as much as possible. And I don't know where we're going with that, but essentially vector is basically that, right? So even though the operating system can move things out there, right? The designers of vector felt even that is not enough, okay? Despite that, right? There are lots of things that people still do to room 55 that is still common, that is, right? So let me take that off their plate too. So vector not only manages all of these underlying things through the operating system for you, like moving stuff around so things grow, right? And also remember, right? Initially, it only asks for 0 bytes of memory from the operating system because you didn't know lines, right? So the first line came along, it started to grow again. The second line came along, it has to grow again, right? So it'd be so painful if Mr. Vector had to keep knocking on operating system's door every single line. Yes?
Mhm.
So there is some optimal number Vector can ask for, right? If you're going to a venture capitalist and asking for money to fund you, right? So you can go knocking on their door saying, hey, can you give me $10 more, right? Like, I think that was a long time ago, the Seinfeld episode, right? So Seinfeld goes into the cockpit saying, hey, pilot, I'm going to eat my next peanut here, right? So, so like that, you can't have, you got to optimize. So you got to calculate what would be the optimal way of asking the operating system for resources, because the operating system is a precious guy, right? I don't want to waste Joe Biden's time, right? Because he's got to look at so many damn things. And so I don't want to go and ask him, hey, how can I get an A+ in this class, right? So what you want to do is abstract away all these things. Where are we going with that? Oh yeah. So let me say, I'm going to ask you not for one each time. So I'm going to ask you for $10 trillion to address the water deficit in Nevada. All right, something like that. So you say that's how much I want, and not because you want all that money, but because you've calculated that that would be the optimal use of Joe Biden's time. Does that make sense? So the vector, we make these calculations in vector. So saying what is the optimal way in which to grow the memory? So if the user wants just 1 byte more, should I get 1 byte from the operating system, or should I get 100 bytes? Right? So what is the trick to that? So I'm not going to tell you what the trick is, right? Because it's all trivial. You can find out yourself. Don't Google it, okay? I like I told you, right? And I think Reddit should be completely off limits until you complete every quest, right? Because everybody's finding solutions, or finding solutions from previous students, okay? And those guys did all the hard work, and that's why they got good grades too, I think, right? So I think Reddit. How do I enforce that? I don't know. Anyway, I'll look for ideas at some point. But don't look up these solutions, okay? Try and find out that if you had a boss, would it make sense to go and ask them for money to buy bread and butter, or a monthly salary, right? But there must be some optimal point, right? Is it a fortnight, right? 2 weeks, or is it a month? Well, what works best, right? All of these are calculatable depending on various factors, or at least quantify as much as possible, right? So those are the reasons why people have picked these things, I think, right? Other than convenience, but the convenience probably was a natural convergence, right? Evolutionary convergence of multiple factors. So I think we can just be descriptive about it and identify these factors and say that's the reason why we have 7 days in a week, something like that. All right, so good. So does that make sense to everybody? So we're not going to go into the details, but vector does that and also does the read. So that is what push means, right? Push is just one line, okay? And mentally we're saying, well, push an item on top of the stack, right? Or push an item onto the end of a vector. So simple for us, yes? But now, but it is so involved, right? So that is why we get to appreciate, right? Instead of tossing vector around and using it without respect, now we find a newfound respect for vector and the people who design vector for us, because they anticipate these problems and they're doing that for our own good so that we don't have to do this shit. Okay, so when we do push, it's just one word. And it agrees with our intuition of what we normally do in life, right? So we're not so concerned about learning new things there, but behind push is a whole realm of magic, right? Because push needs to know how big your vector is already, because it can write into someone else's room, right? If you've overgrown your room, push needs to know to reallocate, go elsewhere, right? And resize the vector. All of these incredibly, I wouldn't say intricate things, but once you've done it once, it is a painful thing, right? So that's what I mean, right? Doing it repeatedly is painful many times until you could put it in autopilot, relegate it to a faculty that you don't have a current use for, right? So so that's why vector is so beautiful. So from now on, okay, from today, we won't use native arrays, okay? So I think today is supposed to be the last day we're supposed to talk. Well, not supposed to, right? I don't believe in supposed to, but I had budgeted for talking about native arrays, right? So native arrays, memory. We'll talk about memory and stuff like that later on down the track, okay? After you get to quest 8, after you implement your own stack, and then we'll start about talking about heap and how to get memory on the heap, right? And that would be really fun. Okay, that's the next level. Playing with the stack is level 1, right? cs2a. Playing with the heap is level 2b, okay? Because playing with a stack is you get, well, I don't know, 1 gigabyte maybe, right? That's a stretch. Most machines, you only get 300 400 megabytes of stack, okay? Most programs. So, but playing with a heap is a different order of magnitude. This is a different ball game. That's why cs2b. We'll just introduce this in cs2a, right? Because playing with a heap is you're going from a 300 megabyte playing ground to a potentially unlimited playground, right? Most of them, the practical ones out there, are terabytes big, right? So you can get a terabyte machine on Amazon these days, or Google, or Microsoft, anywhere. So why would you play in the vast universe before learning to play in our solar system? So that is the message there, is to say, get completely comfortable with playing with stacks, local variables, and how memory is managed within stacks. And then vector. That is why vector is much better now, because it doesn't let you play with the heap, right? It just says, tell me what you want, and I'll do the things for you and make it look like it's a native array on the stack. Does it make sense? Because we haven't talked about stacks and heaps. Okay, stack is given to you. A heap is basically main memory, right? If you buy a computer and get these memory chips, right, and load them up, and you got like half a terabyte of memory chips on your computer, okay. How does your graphics engine, how does Halo know to tap into that? So that is your heap, right? That is not available to programs that are just operating on the stack. They need to ask the operating system, right? All right, I'm now grown up enough to play in the heap. Can you give me some memory from the heap? Okay, that is like 500 times as big as my stack. Right? Oh no, 5,000 times now, right? And so on and so forth. And well, you don't say in times off, you actually ask for massive amounts of memory, right? So you can't ask the stack for, you can allocate here an array of more than, I don't know, we'll try that even after we get things working, an array of more than 50. Yeah. All right, let's do a comment here under above 2 lines. Oh, after line 27, put a line after. Start a comment saying furthermore, and then within brackets saying you won't understand this until after you complete quest 9, or until after week 11. Let's say you may not understand this until after week 11. Okay, you may, some of you probably already know, right? So you may not understand this until after week 11, right? A stack, a native array is on your stack, whereas a heap is on, a vector is on the heap, which allows us to do things like which heap.
Oh.
Yeah, heap is the big memory. Yeah, which allows us to do things like colon, and then on the next line another comment, and we can say yeah, colon. Yeah, colon. Next line. You put in a comment. Oh, you don't even need a comment. No, put in a comment because it won't compile, right? So comment within a comment, you say vector, open integer, open thing, open angle. Yeah, shift. You forgot the shift. Yeah. No, shift. You had the comma there. Yeah, right. Say int, and then close, and then open parentheses. And then say 1 followed by let's say 10 times 1,000 times, that's 10,000 times 1,000, that's 10 million, right? One more.
Oh.
I think also one more. I think is that big enough for yeah, what is one more? That's 10 trillion, right? Is it 10 trillion? No, it's 10 billion. That's just 10 billion, right? Oh, but you can only go up to 4 billion in a long. Just even say 4 billion, right? Even that's not going to say 4 times.
Oh.
Oh, also they're all thousands, not 10,000s. I'm saying the whole product should be. I'm just making a big number. Oh, I didn't explain my number for that. A reason for that. Yeah, I'll explain the reason. Yeah, say 4 times, right? So and put a semicolon there, and let's put the reason on the next line, right? Oh, actually, we'll do the reason later. Okay. No, we should do the reason right there, right? On the same line, you can say it's easier to know that it's easier to understand that quantity than if we said 4 followed by 9 zeros. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then if we said, you forgot the then if we said quantity, then if we said after quantity, then if we had said, let's go to the next line actually. Is that okay? Is everybody understanding and following us? Kai, are you good with this? Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Just to like better understand the number.
Yeah. No. I mean, are you good with, are you okay with typing? Are you comfortable? Right.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I just fall behind.
No, that's fine. Yeah. In fact, anytime you're feeling uncomfortable, just turn into a robot. Okay.
Okay.
Just and then type whatever I say, and then I'll just correct. Right. If I say something wrong, I'll just I'll say backspace.
Okay.
All right. 4 followed by zeros. Yes. So that's the reason why in my code I say times and 1,000, because the times 1,000 it's not more compiler time, right? That actually, no, it's not more runtime. The compiler will take care of it. The compiler will do the calculation and stick in 4 billion there. All right. On the next line, however, right? You put a period after zeros. Sorry. Put a period after zeros, right? However, this would not have been possible, right? So say this would not have been possible, right? On the next line, say int space my array or my ints or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, square bracket, and put those numbers there again. Because this would happen on a stack, and we don't have 4 gigabytes of stack. Most processes don't get 4 gigabytes of stack. Now it's not even 4 gigabytes, right? It's 4 times 4 gigabytes, that's 16 gigabytes, right? Because each integer is 4 bytes. Yes, each integer is 4 bytes long, so 4 billion integers is 16 billion bytes. Yes. So you can say this would not have been possible because this would not have been possible because most processes don't get 16 billion bytes of stack space. Why 16 billion? Put a question mark, and people can answer that in forums if you want. Bytes. No, 16 billion bytes of stack space. Most processes don't get. Yeah. All right. Okay. And put open a parenthesis and say why discuss in the forums if you want. Right. So why 16? Why 16? we'll discuss in the forums. Is that okay? Is that reasonable? And also gives you a little bit of stuff to talk about in the forums, because I see the silence other than a few people. Ali, welcome to class. Did you just join us? I didn't see you before.
No, I got here like 8:25.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I thought I didn't see you before. Well, you know, most of the stuff should be on video anyway, right? I think you should be able to just follow on. But anything you miss, it's all pretty straightforward. You can.
Yeah, I've been following so far. I think we just started coding when I got here. So.
Okay. Cool. Great. That's great. I'm glad, you know, and this is a very friendly bunch of students. I'm very happy to see all of you guys. All right, so discussing. All right, so let's see, the 1730 line 3738. Same thing can be done the hard way. All right, we're not going to do that. Okay. All right, good. Now what we want to do is on line 39, just say I'm going to print out the lines in the file in the vector, right? So do another, blank line there. This is just an example. You guys can, right? So example, and say, a comment that says, now let's print out our vector. And this is all stuff that you will probably just read off from memory, right? It's automatic. This will all become autopilot for you. That's why I'm saying, let's just do some random standard shit. Okay, I think that's very important. We have to do these random things again and again, standard things again and again at random times, and every opportunity we get, because it's all stuff that you're going to be using many times. Okay, so let's print out our vector. So first you say for size t, and this is a standard syntax, right? For size t. Size t, again, we went over this last class. I think size t is just is a synonym for unsigned long. Okay, it is going to be replaced. Unsigned long is for size t, right? So size t, open parentheses for, again, see, that's why it's important to get practice. That's fine. See, first time we do Python syntax or some other language syntax, how would you get used to C++ syntax, right? So you got to correct like this. Okay, for size, size underscore t, again, right? Size underscore t. So all familiarity, only by using again, you get more familiarity. Space, I equals, and again, I is a standard variable, right? Many people want to get fancy and use X and Z and so on and so forth. Unless there's a special reason to use these special variables, just stick to what computer programmers use most of the time. It'll be easier for them to follow your code and logic and not get buried in superficial details, right? So I equals 0, semicolon. This is your for loop where, many conditions are condensed in one line for our convenience, right? So I less than, how much should you loop the vector? We should loop the vector as big as the vector is, how big the vector is, right? How do you know how big the vector is, right? Previously, I told you, if you want to know how many elements there are in the vector, you got to get the amount of bytes allocated, divide by the size of each item, and that gives you the number of items, right? Now, vector, the class, simplifies all that for you. It just stores the number for you. So all you need to do is just say, lines dot size, okay? Open, close, okay? That means, dear vector, Mr. Lines, okay? Tell me your size. That is that method. Dot size means, vector, tell me what your size is. I don't want to calculate it myself. Now imagine, right? So is that beautiful or not? Okay, right? So as long as I is less than is the size of the vector, okay, I plus plus. Oh, actually, you need a semicolon, right? Again, semicolon, that will all become reflexes, right? And you got to type like 10 or 15 of these, everybody, right? Not just Kai. Every one of you has got to type programs in which you write this kind of for loop at least 10 or 15 times, probably 100 times even. By the time you get to quest 5, you're probably typing this 100 times at least. So, and that's the only way you can get this all internalized. You should just be able to read it off in your sleep, okay? So on the next line, again, we don't need a thing, right? Let's actually, let's stitch our line together, okay? So on the next line, indent in. So you're gonna say cout, okay? Double left shift, okay, space. And ideally a space before that too. All right. And then within quotes, you say lines square bracket. In fact, it should be lowercase lines because our variable is called lines, right? Yeah, square bracket. And then go outside of the code. Okay. And then double left shift again. No, right there. Left shift. Which remember what we did last class? We just stitched together the entire cout line on one line, right? So we're going to do the same thing here.
Wait,
right?
what do you mean by left shift?
Oh, two less than signs. Again, space,
Oh.
space, two less than. Yeah, all right. And then you're going to show left shift I. Right? And then again, space, left shift. And then open a quote. Right? And then you're going to say, square bracket, close the square bracket. Now you have to run this. It's very hard the first time, but it's like it becomes second nature very soon. Okay, just to stitch this together in your mind so that we're not thinking about the individual operators and things like that. In your mind, you already know what the string is and you're just putting things together. Okay, and because when I'm talking to Kai, because Kai is doing it the first time, he has to consciously remember, okay, all these things. And then sometimes even people forget the spaces, right? All of that will become automatic. Okay, so and then after the closing thing, you just say space equals space. All right. In fact, within the quotes, we want the equals also. Yeah. All right. Now, outside of the quotes, put together more words because our line is not complete, right? Yeah. Left shift. And then what is our line? Lines of I. Lines square bracket I. No, you don't need a quote there. Now you want the actual variable. Square bracket I. Now you want an end of line after that. All right, that's basically it. That is an entire functioning program which will read the contents of this file we are going to create. The file doesn't exist right now, right? We're going to create that and do that. And then after it's done, go to the next line and say on the next line and say, well, we don't have to say anything, right? It's just we don't have to say it. That's it, right? Delete all the blank lines. You have a return at the end, I hope. Yeah, okay, all right. So the only thing we're not this program is not accounting for right now is whether the file exists or not, right? Because if this program technically should compile. So let's compile it by hand, okay? So let's not worry about the UI right now. Just make the console bigger. You don't have to obscure the entire code, halfway. Okay, that's fine. Okay, in the console, just do an ls and let's make sure we have kai.cpp. ls-l, ls-l, yeah. Space, no, that's Windows, right? ls space -l. Dash, not slash. Yeah, right. Those are the two files that enter, sorry. Those are the two files that are currently in this directory. In fact, you can also go ahead and remove keenan.cpp just to make sure that yours is the only one here right now. And Keenan can, and when, no, don't do that. Do it here in the console. Just say rm. And it'll disappear from there automatically. Hopefully, I don't know how quickly they're pulling the directory, but maybe it's just rm space k little lowercase k tab. It'll automatically complete for you. Tab. Okay. Enter. Okay, so that file is gone. If you do an ls again, two up arrows. Two up arrows. All right, enter. That file is not there. Oh, that's gone for there too. I missed the moment when it disappeared. But it's not real time, but they're polling to see the contents, I think. All right, looks like. All right, so let's compile this by hand using the same command we used last time. G++ space -o kai space kai. Put a space there. Yeah. Okay. Space space. And then capital K and tab, it should autocomplete for you. All right, now hit enter. Now, what? Lines dot push. Oh, it's not push, it's push back. Sorry, push back, right? It's not push.
Do I just type
No,
in
push underscore back, push underscore back.
Oh.
That's the name of the method. Oh, sorry, you can, yeah, you can compile it. Okay, now it's compiled. If you do an ls again, three up arrows. Oh no, yeah, there you go. Try this again. Command L or Control L. Control L, I think, or Control L. Hit Control L. Nothing happens. Oh, it does happen. Zane told me it didn't happen last time. But Control L is supposed to bring that line to the top and clear the screen. Okay, hit enter. Okay, so you see the green Kai?
Yeah.
That is the executable program. Now, if you run it, it'll fail because it is what is the file it's looking for? Line yeah, Kai/numbers.txt. Yes, that doesn't exist, right? So if you run your program now, it should fail. But we didn't account for that. So run it now. say ./chi. Okay, yeah, enter. Right? Nothing happened. It failed, but we didn't catch that error. Now let's see if it actually left an error in the operating system. Echo space $ question mark dollar shift shift 4. Yeah, yeah. Enter. See, 0. So even the operating system didn't know your program failed, because in the end of at the end of main you said return 0. Yes.
Yeah.
So even the operating system didn't know that your program failed, but your program failed because it couldn't open the file and it just died silently. So as a professional programmer, these are the things that you'd catch. Yes. So you'd say, when I'm opening a file, I want to make sure the file exists first. So let's actually make sure the file exists, right? Not in the program, we'll create the file. Okay. So let's make the directory first. What is the directory should be called Kai. So let's make mkdir kai, right? Mkdir space kai. All right, enter. Right now, do that. Oh, I actually change the name of the fin right on that word on line 12. Line 12. Change that to because you have a file called Kai, you can create a directory called Kai. Okay, call it Kai numbers or something like that. Whatever you want to call it. Just say call it K or no, you can't say K because
my last name.
Yeah, call it Maeda. Right, Maeda or Maeda?
Maeda.
Maeda. All right, so call it Maeda, and then make that directory. Okay, now do an ls again. So there you already see that there, the folder on in the UI. Okay, yeah. Now ls-l, you'll see Maeda. Let's see if it's different color. Hey, it is a different color. Nice interface. Okay, directory means blue. Okay, now we want to create a file inside of this directory, and what should that file be called? Numbers.txt. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you. There's a bunch of ways in which we can do it. But I'm going to show you one command line way, and I'll explain what it goes. It's actually turning out to be a mini course in Linux and Unix too. But I think it's useful knowledge for a C++ programmer, right? So I won't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'll just tell you what to do. But interrupt me at any time. So what we want to do is say sequence, SEQ. Hit tab again after hit tab. Oh, it is a command. Okay, so sequence. Let's say 10. And hit enter. Okay, now the Unix designers gave us a program called sequence. Okay, then there's a whole bunch of different ways in which sequence will behave. It'll give you a range of numbers, it'll give you a range of floating point numbers even, right? And so on. But the default behavior is that what happens if you just say sequence? Just say sequence and hit enter. Okay, all right, so it needs an operand. Okay, so default behavior is it'll take a number and give you all numbers from 0 to that number, and it's very useful, right? It's useful in many cases, and you'll find as a Unix programmer and so on, right? So what we want to do is take the output of sequence and put it inside our file, Kai/numbers of text. We need a file called numbers.txt that lives inside the folder Maeda. Yes or no? I want everybody to be on the same. Yes, we need that. Yes. So we're going to do that in one line. Okay, so we're going to run up arrow, get sequence 10. All right, normally this would just print everything on screen like it did before. Yes. Yeah. But what happens is that Unix and Linux gives us a really nice shell with which we are interacting right now. This is actually a shell, even though they have a separate shell tab, right? It gives us a really nice shell, and the shell understands lots of things. The shell says on the command line, if you have a greater than sign, that means anything that follows that greater than is a file into which I'm going to stuff whatever comes before that. Is that cool or not? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we're going to do is no. So say sequence 10 space greater than M tab. It'll autocomplete to Maeda. No, it has to be uppercase M. Right? Slash. What is that file supposed to be called? Numbers.txt. Yeah. All right, so that little command in Linux or Unix is going to run first. First, it's going to run sequence. Take the output of sequence to cout, right? Not cout. Whatever sequence is sending to the console, it takes it, but because it's a greater than, it says, I'm not going to send it to the console, I'm going to send it to this file. Yes or no? It's doing exactly the same thing that you did. Instead of cin and cout, you're using fin and fout. Yes? When the shell sees that greater than, it says instead of C out, I'm going to use F out, and the F out is this guy. Yes or no? This is a very subtle point, but it's like super duper 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 powerful. Lots of people don't even, they do things the hard way, right? And you can do this in one line, and you can do this in a sleep, right? Now hit enter. There you go, finished. Now if you do an ls-l, you'll see the Maeda directory, and then do an ls-l of Maeda's directory. We can do it in multiple ways, right? So ls-l and hit enter, you'll see, all right, so ls-l space Maeda space, no, Maeda slash star, right? Everything in there.
And then enter.
Yeah, enter, sorry. Right, so you see that? In fact, you can say ls-la Maeda slash, that's also the same. This is multiple ways of doing the same thing, you'll discover, right? Instead of -l, say -la, and then still say Maeda slash. And I think you don't need the star, okay? Just enter. It tells you everything in that file. In that directory, the dot means it is a current directory, which we actually use, ./chi, current directory chi. Dot is just an alias. You can't create a file called dot, okay? Given to you by the operating system. Dot is an alias for the parent directory, right? If you say cd ... it'll go to the previous directory. So if you want to go into Maeda, you say cd space Maeda, right? Cd space Maeda, right? Enter. Now your current working directory, which is a pwd, my present working directory is actually enter, right? Your directory right now is /user code /Maeda from the root, right? They've given you a place called, right? That's where you are. And if you do an ls-l right here, ls-l, right? ls-la, ls space -la, enter. Okay, you see, dot, that's because you're in that room. If you want to leave that room and go back to your parent room, just say cd to my parent, cd space ... Okay, all right, so that's basically it. Now if you run your file, it'll actually print, it'll succeed, right? If you run your program /chi, yeah, enter. Wow, what the hell is going on? Let's go back to your program again. Go back to your program. Maybe I got a bug in there. Someone should basically figure out what the bug is and let me know. IF string f in while get line f in.
Is it because it's line and then lines? Does that
No.
matter?
What we're doing is getting individual lines from the file. Good guess, but we're getting individual lines from the file into this. We can change the name of the variable from line to str, for example. Change the string line from line to str. It's not going to matter, right? And change all the other line to str also, right? Where fn comma str.
Is there a quick way to do that?
Just double click.
Oh.
str, and then the other one also. I think there's one below that. There, a push back. If we don't fix it now, I'll definitely let you know what the problem is. Why is it not working? Wait, while get line. Just Google really quickly for best get line usage, C++ get line usage. It has to be one word, get line.
Oh.
Well, maybe Google will pick up. Yeah. The first one is fine. Why is it taking this long?
I think like running Zoom and sharing just slows down.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. So while get line string. Yeah. Okay. That looks right to me. And we're passing it. It's not able to get at the file for some reason. Okay. Let's look at your. Is there a way to? Yeah, I think we may be able to debug it even. So go back to your code. Let's take a look at this because we're using it the right way. Are we using it? Also, let's look at ifstream, just like what you did for getLine. Just look at ifstream just to make sure we're not doing anything silly. Enter. What's an example? Has it got an example? Further down. They'll have usually they'll have an example under the table. No? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe on a different page, they have an example. Oh, yeah, the constructor. I think even further down, they may have an example. Maybe they're just, because it's just such a big class, they got a lot of this stuff. No?
It's the bottom of the page.
I think we're using it right. I don't know. We can always look at our code again. Maybe there's something else that we're doing. I think we're doing it right, okay? Someone else can look up fstream and see if we're doing something silly there, but let me look at the code, okay? So we got a vector of lines, get line, and then while get line is somehow failing. In fact, to verify that, make that while loop with squiggly braces like you said before, right? Yeah, and inside of the squiggly brace, let's put a cout, right? Because this is our poor man's debugger, right? We don't have a sophisticated Visual Studio like debugger. We're going to use our poor man's, actually, which turns out to be a much better debugger in many cases, right? We're going to do cout, just say here, Kai, whatever it is, just say something, right? Because if our suspicion is correct, our hypothesis is correct, this is our experiment, our scientific experiment. If our hypothesis is correct, it won't even print anything there, right? Put some string there, and it's not even going to hit that line. Right? You need an endl, I think, to make sure it flushes, right? And put 4 slashes there just to make sure it's a temporary line. We're going to delete it at some point, right? All right.
Wait, Professor, is it the push underscore back that's causing the problem? Is that
no? Even if it causes, yeah, a good point, right? What you're saying is maybe push back and then it's dying, right? It's not dying. Push back, if it causes a problem, is not going to kill the program. Right? It's only not going to affect lines. Lines is not going to change. Lines is still empty. What I mean is, it hasn't gotten any line. If it got any line at all, it would have stuck it into the vector. It didn't get any line from the file. So we're going to find out, is it getting any lines at all? Right? Is it getting into the while loop at all? Yes. Some of you haven't debugged programs, I think, right? Because some of you are really fresh to C++ or even programming. This is what we tend to do, is that after we write something, it doesn't work. Most of the time, it's for some silly ass reason. Okay, so we have to look at it and say, well, I'm going to stick a cout there. It should be going there. Why is it not even going there? Put a cout there. Let's see if it's going. Is that a good way to debug code? Well, it is actually a good way, actually, right? But do you see that it can be very useful sometimes? Yes, because lots of people say it's not working. I have to hit my debugger in VS Code or Xcode or Visual Studio and do all this. That's all heavy duty stuff. You save the heavy duty stuff for some really heavy duty stuff, right? So if you have some spatial structure you need to debug, and your logic is correct, and you need Visual Studio to look into the space, which is like in bits and bytes, but you can actually visualize that and say, well, that's what's wrong. That pixel should not be 0, right? So that is the time when we need to look. That's when Visual Studio and all these debuggers are useful. But this is a very useful skill to have. Many people don't even teach you that. I don't even know if we teach you this in a STEM center, okay? If you go to a STEM center, we tell the tutors, make sure our students are really good at using debuggers, okay? Because they need to debug their code. But I think, right, this is something that students have to get used to before they get spoiled with debuggers. Because, think about it. Debuggers just make us feel entitled brats. Right? They're just spoiling us because this is stuff we should be doing, and the debuggers are making it easier for us. So we should take the time and spend it for something good rather than do something else, I think. Right? Okay. So run it. I'm pretty sure it's not even going to say compile it and run it. Compile it. You have to say up arrow until you get the G++ line in the console. Say up arrow until the G++ line. Up arrow. Keep hitting. In fact, there's an easy way to do that. You say exclamation mark G. It'll run the first command that starts with G. In the history, right? I think. Do they enter? Yeah, okay, that's correct. I haven't done this in 20 years, right? And I still remember this. And it worked. It still worked, which means things haven't changed. Okay, so that means search your history, find the first command that starts with G and run it. Okay, so now run it. And I bet, wow, what happened the previous time? It didn't find the file and now it did. Increase the size of the console. Did we change the program anyway? Did we do anything?
We only added the cout and then added the square brackets on the while.
Get rid of the cout. Get rid of the cout. Get rid of the cout. No, it should have worked even otherwise, right? Even now, run it. Let's make sure it works. Compile and run it. Up arrow. You have it really cool early in your memory, and then put a semicolon after that. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. That's fine. You can run multiple commands on the same line too, right? Yeah, Kai. It's working.
Is it the square brackets?
It'll still work.
Did you change string in both of those? To STR.
Oh yeah, we did.
No. I think let's go back to that too. I'm pretty sure it has to work even then, right? Compile and run, up arrow, and then don't, and then put a semicolon right there, and then space, and say /chi. Right? Yeah, you can run multiple commands on the same line. Okay, enter. See, it's running. It's running, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now go and change this str to lines. Thank you. Who said that? Ali, did you say that?
I did.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Thanks for remembering that. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for remembering that. Change that back to line. It has to work, okay? Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. Yeah, you're backspacing. You can just double click. It's a lot easier. But here
Okay.
it's a short word. Okay. Yeah, run it. It has to work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think what was happening was that the file didn't exist the last time it looked for some reason, or I don't know what the hell was going on. But anyway, are you guys now comfortable enough with reading from a file into an array, which is basically a vector, which is really easy for you, right? Much easier than a native array. So what we need to do now, here's the idea I have for this game, okay? It's 9:20. You got a half hour to play, and then we can continue this next class too. Here's what we're going to do. Kai has created a directory called Maeda, and inside of that, he's got a file called numbers.txt. Okay, now what Kai is going to do is go to that directory, delete numbers.txt. We don't want that file anymore. Increase the size of the console. Okay, increase the size. Is this okay if I just say Unix commands to you guys, because you're going to be picking up Linux and Unix anyway, right? And rather than do things via UIs and GUIs, this I think would be better for a C++ programmer. Otherwise, I'm happy to do it the other way too, right? We can go to the UI and create files and read files from it. Are you guys happier with doing it this way on the console, right? Because you're very close to the machine this way.
Yeah.
Not only Kai, okay? If it's only one person, everybody else is feeling, oh no, if I don't march at that machine level, I can't do this class, then there's no point. All right, we'll just go back to the usual way of doing this. I just think it's useful. And you can always say, let's go back to the other way to do this. Otherwise, we'll just march ahead this way. Yes or no?
I kind of
Yes.
like the other way, honestly.
Okay.
Like it's a bit more confusing for me in the console.
All right, let's not do the console. Thank you, Ali. Okay, because thank you for speaking up for what is probably all of the other students, right, who also had the same issue. Let's not do this anyway. This way, Kai. Anybody who wants to do these things, I can show you later. Okay. Now, what we want to do is, okay. Unfortunately, actually, no. You can all do this on your own computers. Okay, right. So what Kai is going to do, you're all going to do on your own computers. Okay. So create a new folder, right? Right click there and create a new folder called Maeda Pack, right? Call it Maeda Pack. Maeda Pack. Right, and put a hyphen saying, it's easier for zip and all, right? No. Put a hyphen between Maeda and Pack or something like that, so that it's just one word. Okay, all right, that's your folder. Now go into the folder and create, I don't know, 5 text files. Okay, so create a file there, a new file. Okay, and there's going to be a text file. Call it adjectives.txt. Right, I'm trying to look at the parts of speech we'll use. Adjectives.txt. Create another file called adverbs.txt. Another one called verbs.txt. Another one called nouns.txt. I think that's it, right? Is that enough to make a complete sentence? Adjective, verb, noun.
Conjunctions.
No, conjunction we can, but it'll make it harder for us. We'll need more. I want to shoot for the simplest possible sentence you can make.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, simplest possible sentence is one word, right? It's simplest possible. Yeah, okay. Let's leave conjunctions out. Let's go with this for now. What I'd like is for click on adjectives.txt. Right on the right side, create a bunch of lines. Say fast. No, not blank lines. You can just say fast. Fast, slow, quick. You put a whole bunch. Next line. Sorry, next line.
Oh.
Just one on each line. Slow. We put in a whole bunch of adjectives, right? And then you can also say 2 forward slashes and then say etc. You can write your own comments after that, etc. Right? And each person is going to create their own file of adjectives they like. Yes. Okay, just so the adjectives shouldn't be mean or snarky, but fun adjectives. Okay, fun adjectives that you can apply to random sentences you're going to create. Yeah, and then go to your nouns thing and then create a bunch of nouns. Maybe in our nouns we'll say, let's pick a theme, right? Let's say nouns from Harry Potter theme, right? Maybe someone else says nouns from, I don't know, a Twilight series. Yeah, so whatever. Right, so you can pick a theme, a Game of Thrones, right? So say comment and say comment, comment, and say nouns from, let's say, a Harry Potter theme by Kai. All right, on the next line, you say Hermione, Griffin. I don't know, is this a Griffin? That thing, that beast with that can fly and all. All right. No, I think it's not Hermione. It's Hermione. M-I-O-N-E. M-I-O-N-E. Right, and make it uppercase because it's a noun. It's a proper noun. Right. It doesn't have to be people. Right. It can be Griffin. It can be the Phoenix. It could be a trophy. It could be anything. Right. Any object from Harry Potter can go in there. Right. Likewise, if you're doing Star Wars, just pick interesting objects. And if you're stuck, if your creative juices are not flowing, just go to Google and just say Harry Potter and look at the hits. Right. You don't and just looking at them will just get your juices flowing, and you'll come up with a whole lot of things you can say and make them interesting. Right. Not standard ones like Hermione and Ron. Yeah. Right. Come up with interesting things. Right. From Harry Potter. Okay, just like that, interesting verbs from Harry Potter series, because Kai is going to do all Harry Potter things. Okay, now I don't want to go through the whole damn thing. Okay, I want to make sure you get the idea. You're going to flesh out these 5 files, or how many other files? 4 files with some of these words. Yes or no? I'm going to go over what we're going to try and do and make sure that everybody is comfortable with doing something like this on their own. Okay, so what we're going to do, and ask me if you have any questions. Hey, Kylie, welcome. Did you just join, or were you late or something like that?
Yeah, sorry, there was a lot of traffic this morning.
Don't worry, like Ali too, right? So just watch the video and catch up. I think you're fine. So we're creating these files, and once you have these files, here's what we're trying to do. Go back to your program, the program that you had before, kai.cpp, right? You're going to write a program in which, right, you're going to create 4 vectors. One vector is going to be called vector of adjectives. Another vector is going to be called vector of nouns. Yes or no? Yes or no? Everybody say okay, or are you comfortable with this? Now, in order to do this nicely with our comments and all, we're going to make one change. We will also introduce branching statements here, right? Which you already know about. Okay, so go into that while loop where you're reading lines, right? And make it a now squiggly brackets and things and so on, right? We'll just make it a little bit more complex. Okay. All right. All right. Now, the first line of the while loop should be, right? If line dot length greater than 0, open close. Yeah, thank you. Open close. Maybe I should switch to the other glasses. No, it's gonna, end of class already. Right. And double ampersand is a condition. Okay, space, double ampersand, and in fact put a spaces around the greater than also, so it's an operator, so it's set out and all. Okay, and line square bracket 0, first character, right? Line square bracket 0, space, not equal to, exclamation mark, equals is not equal to, / within single quotes, not equal to the open that character. Okay. Oh, in fact, let's not make it not equal to, yeah, let's just say / because that's not an English word usually, right? Within single quotes, No, that / has to be within single quotes, not double quotes, within single quotes.
Oh,
Because it's one character, not the entire line, right? Just the first character, right? Now on the next line, you're going to say continue and semicolon. What that means is that, yes, you got a line, but if that line is blank, which means its length is 0, or if the line length is 0, or, I'm sorry, it's not and, it's or. It's not double ampersand, it's double vertical bar. No, vertical bar. All right, so everybody, so if the line is empty or the line begins with a /, ignore the line. That means treat empty lines and lines that begin with that as comment, which means you're not going to read that into a vector, which means you can put any damn thing you want in there in a file. That's how we got these comments saying these cool lines come from Kai Maida's pack. Yes, you can put these comments inside your files. Is that cool or not? Is everybody understand this? Let's put a comment on continue, right? Put a comment there saying this will skip lines that are empty or commented with a leading / or commented with that thing, with a leading thing. Commented out with a leading. Which means that when you create these packs, and you think that, students think that, you have 15 adjectives and, lots of students say, hey, that adjective is really a profane word. Some people may misinterpret that. You can actually not delete it. You can just put a comment in front of it, just like you do in C++ programs. Is that cool or what? Yes. Okay. Now go back. All right. So now, does everybody know how to read 5 vectors in? Yes. If anybody does not know, I expect you to help each other in the forums, not on Discord or Slack or anything. Okay. You can do it on the foothill tag. Okay. Do it under the foothill tag. Help each other. Every one of you should have your own pack on Thursday, right? One of you has a Harry Potter pack. Another one maybe Game of Thrones, Star Wars. Pick anything you want. Okay. Twilight, Foothill, any damn pack you want. Maybe, come up with your own idea. Every one of you should have one of these. Lots of interesting, and the beauty is that nobody knows what's inside of those files. Yes, other than you. So I will show you next week how to write one program in which you can say, right, run this program using Kai's pack, Maida's pack, or Kylie's pack, or or June's pack, right? And each time you run that one game program, you can tell it which pack to use, and it'll generate an interesting sentence from that universe. How is that a nice, interesting thing to do? We never got to do that last quarter. We tried to do that, but I know the idea was also developing along the way. So it was only the first cut at it, but this is the second cut, right? And I think we'll actually get it done. And by the end of, this is Thursday already. Okay, by Tuesday, because we're going to be doing functions, we'll take your packs and write a function that is basically just going to read all those things. It's going to be the same for all of you. All of you are going to have the same thing in your main saying, read the first file into the first array, second file into the second. You're going to read that, right? Everybody's going to do the same thing, right? And in fact, everybody's going to do the same thing too. After you've got that, you're going to select a random number, right? A random word from each of those arrays, stitch together a sentence and put it on screen. That's all. Okay. Every time I run a program, I say, run it with, Frey pack. Okay. And then maybe it'll come up with a sentence that Jennifer would, comes from Jennifer's adjectives and words and so on. Right. And then we'll run it with each one of your packs and we'll see some interesting sentences. Okay. You can also share it on the forums. And if anybody's interested, I can also show you how with just like a half hour of work more, I can show you how to turn it into a web app so that someone could go to alitha.com or something like that and say, give me a random sentence from Game of Thrones, and it'll generate a random sentence from Game of Thrones and give it to them on the web. Okay. And they could also go and say, give me like 500 sentences from this universe because I'm building a machine learning system that's trying to understand the grammar. Okay. Try to infer what grammar you're using just from the sentences you're giving me. Right. So you want to generate lots and lots of sentences that you basically an API. You can put it together in half an hour on the web. Right? Once you're able to do that. And I can show you how to do that all in one class. Okay. On Tuesday, if you're able to attend, and if you have some packs ready, we'll have, we'll do some really kick-ass stuff, right? It'll be interesting. What time is it now, by the way? Oh, we got 10 minutes. Okay. How about for the remaining 10 minutes? I'll just turn it around, all right? So that you guys can start already and use the first 10 minutes to just get grounded. Okay. Ask each other questions and ask, hey, what are we supposed to do? Create files. And what are you doing here? What kind of for loop should I use? And all these things, right? Before I do that, let's go to your file, one of your files, Kai, any one of your files. I want to look at a comment, right? Any file that has comment. Yeah. In fact, we just designed our program so you don't need 2 of those. right? You only need one, and already that line will be right. In fact, you can say after the forward slash, you can say cool, and say this line is a comment because it begins with a slash. So you can put anything here, right? Everybody okay with this? Everybody understand what we're trying to do? Yeah. So simple project, right? It's a very simple project we can all do in just one class, less than 2 hours. And then a half hour more, you can just showcase it on the web too, if you're interested. Okay, I can show you how to do that. All right, so that's all. It's very simple and easy. Are you guys happy with this so far? Did we cover some useful ground today? Right? Was this class useful?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So what I'd like for now is for you to basically, hey, Fernando, you're like so totally late. Even you, Yang, right? You guys weren't here for like 90% of the class. Okay, you got to make sure you come sooner to class, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have a hell of a time just following what we did. Even watching the video, it'll take you like 10 times more time, right? And then you can't complain that we don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. That's because you're using up your easy time. And not, if you attended class, you wouldn't have a tough time later on.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I got here at 8:50, but
Yeah, 8:50 is too late.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you got to be here at 8 o'clock. Okay. And I told Sean, and who was the other one? One other person was here, Ashwath and Sean. Okay. There are only 2 people. I told them, well, let's just start coding. Okay. People who come later, they can just watch the video. And the disadvantage of watching the video is that you're just setting up yourself for hard work. Okay. If you watch the video and learn, you're going to have to put in 10 times more work. Okay, and then you can't say later on that I'm working hard on cs2a. You're working hard because you didn't do the easy stuff like everybody did, right? You're doing it the hard way, so that's why you're working hard. So make it easy on yourself. I'm not saying this because you ought to do this. I'm a teacher cracking my whip. Okay, I'm saying this is sensible things you got to do to make your own life easier. Okay, all right, so that's all. I'm going to turn it around. So play around, okay, and help each other. I want all of you to come up with packs, interesting packs, right? Just let your creative juices flow. And if you have any questions, ask each other. And you can also use comments in the file to say, well, whatever you want to say, you can say in these files within comments. So it'll help you, right? So I think it'll be easy and interesting, and it'll be fun too to run next class. And don't run other people's, right? Don't ask other people to run their code and look at what their sentences are already. Okay, it should be a surprise. Okay, you can run your own program. You can look at your own sentences as long as you want. Okay, on Tuesday we'll get a chance to see what other packs will produce, right? So you can say, well, you know what, Ashwath has these kinds of sentences and so on. We won't even know what are in there. We'll just say, hey, program, run Ashwath, right? That pack and this pack. So you can actually sell it, right? You can sell it for free, saying, hey, here's an interesting program with 15 packs from cs2a 2022, right? Program with these packs. These are from the students of one zip file, okay? And that'd be nice. All right, that's it. It's over to you, unless you have any questions. I'm going to turn around and have fun, okay? That's the most important part. The moment you stop having fun, it's not worth it, okay? It's not worth it. You're doing it for someone else. And so, of course, sometimes you got to be able to know that there's more fun ahead, even if you're not having fun right now. Okay, so maybe I should take that back. Okay, you should have. Sometimes you're not able to have fun, but you should not lose sight of the fact that there is, fun further up ahead with compound interest for what you're giving up now. Okay, I think that's the bit that's missing. That's the leap of faith that is required in students. Is to say that what you're giving up now, you're just basically investing for compound interest. Okay, so you'll get it back. Don't think that you're not partying now, you're not going to get a chance to party later on. No, if you don't go to one party now, you'll get to go to an order of magnitude more parties, better parties later on, right? When you're able to enjoy them, right? Today, I know, right? As a student, I've partied as a student, I've partied as a professional in many different contexts. I know, right? Until you're completely independent, okay, and say I'm not dependent on anything or anybody, you cannot party. Okay, there's something weighing down on you. There's something that says I got to go back home and get my life in order. There's something that you need to do, right? Get to a place. This will help you get to a place. This will help you get to a place where you can say, well, now I can party. Okay, and that is your first true real party. Okay, so get to that, and you'll thank me later on. Okay, so I think, all right. Well, anyway, thank you for your time. We'll meet again on Tuesday. Please don't fritter away, right? Every time I sign off on Thursday, and I don't even hear a peep from you guys until Tuesday. right? Not in the forums, nothing. Sometimes there is, a namesake post someone makes. And Kylie or Ashwath asks a question and nobody even bothers to answer, right? I would have expected a few more answers than Van for Keenan's question. Okay, more of you should jump in and say, hey, you try this and try that and so on. Okay, so help each other. It is, and that's what and it's going to help you in 2B. Okay, in 2B, that's the only way you can even get points, because in 2B, I'm going to say, if you look at past Reddit posts and I don't see any evidence of you struggling or helping others, well, you don't get points. Okay, so because that's the only way I can establish that, okay, well, the last 15 points that students have to get, how can I find out how much they've actually learned? Well, one way is I can find out how much they're helping other people understand the same concepts. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use as a metric from now on. Okay, so please help each other and learn the material, because it's fun. And I'll try and come up with interesting, fun things like this, right? This one, maybe I'll think up more for more advanced concepts, but I'll try and keep it interesting. But that's all I can do, right? As for doing it and actually enjoying the fun, that has to be yours, right? If you don't enjoy it, then you won't make this your future, I think, right? So have fun, and I'll see you on Tuesday. All right. Of course, if you want me, call me back, I'll be back. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it around, and after I hear silence, I'll just come back and switch off the video recording. Yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay. Thank you all so much for your time. And I think we did a lot of cool stuff.
All right, thank you.
Professor,
Thanks,
I'm just going to
Professor.
stay back for a minute just so we can figure out what's going on with my submission.
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry,
still
Keenan.
having the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Keenan, you asked me a question.
For the quest, why it's only showing my draw cat.
Oh, thank you. I'll take a look at it. Yeah. Thursday. Yeah, I'll take a look at it after 1 hour.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. And if you
you-
don't hear back from me by this evening, just let me know.
So when would be the new due date for Quest 2?
If you're on Quest 2, I'll take it as late as Friday.
Okay, and
Okay,
Quest 3 would be
but
next
don't.
Monday.
Yeah, well, don't. What is it? Today's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Don't
want
push it
to. I
off.
want to make sure you have 2 days for Quest 3, because Quest 3 is harder, slightly harder.
Gotcha. And that's
Okay.
still due on sometime Monday.
That will still be due on Monday.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Before I log off, I'm going to try submitting it one more time to see if it goes.
Yeah, go for it. Wait. Before you submit it, have you submitted already, Keenan?
What?
Have you already submitted? I'd like the buggy submission. I'd like to keep it. Yeah. Otherwise, I have to go dig deeper into the archive to get it. Can you make the buggy submission one more time using use IDK bug?
IDK bug.
Yeah.
Well, I already changed
instead of your
my
student
code.
ID, use K bug.
Okay, well, I already changed my code, so
Yeah, but can you put it back? Can you put it back to what it was and
I can
use
see.
K bug? Don't worry. We'll track it down. If it happens again, let me know.
I mean, let me try to submit right now, and if it still has the bug, then I'll do that.
I shouldn't know what you're experiencing now, right? Because you should save that for the forum. So
Okay.
don't tell me.
Well, it's not. I don't know if it's an issue with my code.
No, I'm pretty sure it's an issue with your code. Because if it's showing the vertical bars, it means that each line is different.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about I fixed that. But it's only like it says my draw cat is completely right, and then it just stops reading all of the other stuff. Like it just.
Oh, that's the one. No. The picture I saw. Show it to me. I'm pretty sure I saw a bunch of vertical.
Do you want me
lines.
to screen share right now? I can
Yeah,
pull
screen
it up
share,
and then
because I'm pretty sure I
guys.
saw a bunch of vertical lines there. The one that you posted.
Yeah.
But I think his question is more on that it shows his draw cap, but it doesn't show the limerick or the
I can't screen
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you, Ali. That's what I suspected, though. I said my suspicion was that his draw cat was so completely wrong. Every line was different that I basically died right there. That died meaning I didn't say you're done. You can't proceed anymore. I should say you can't proceed anymore.
So I can't screen share while Kai screen share.
Oh, you cannot? You cannot?
Thank you, Kai. So let me pull up I think it's this tab. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yeah. So do the draw cat.
So let me pull in all my files. So I pulled in all three files and I
Mhm.
click to read it. Wait. And it's only reading draw cat.
Okay, all right. So can you submit this with kbug?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I think I know what the problem is, right?
Okay. So you just
and
want me
then
to
go
set
ahead
it to
and
like
read
the
it.
letter K and then just bug, like BUG, KBUG.
Hey, you know what? And in fact, this is it doesn't even show any differences. So something happened here. There's no differences. The picture I remember actually.
Yeah,
had
no,
vertigo.
I read Van's comment and I went
Yeah.
back and I changed my code.
All right, I need to. Yeah,
Cool.
just submit
Thank
with
you,
kbug.
Van.
I'll take a look. I'll take a look. I'm surprised, but you know, some of the early quests are done differently. So
Yeah.
take a look.
So should I just change my like ID to KBug and then
No,
resubmit it,
actually, you
or-
know what? By this afternoon, you will be able to finish this and get the password. Can you wait until this afternoon?
Yeah, yeah. And if you want, do you want me to send you my files directly?
No, I got it.
Okay, okay.
Even if it's older, I got it. It just means I have to dig through the archive for that. The
Okay,
most recent one is like immediate. I can just see it right
Well,
away.
I changed my code like a lot, like.
No, it doesn't
over the
matter.
last, like-
The
okay,
one you submitted had the problem. I can see it, and that's there. So as
Okay.
long as you don't overwrite it, I don't have to dig deep.
Okay, all right.
you
Well,
can-
I won't submit anything until you get back to me.
No,
then.
you can. You can submit with your ID. I got kbug. As long as
Okay.
you don't resubmit with kbug, that's fine.
Oh, I didn't submit this with KBug. Do you want me to submit?
Yeah, submit it with
right now?
kbug, and then you can carry on doing whatever you do.
Okay, let me go back and change it then. I don't know if you can see my, I don't know if I want.
Well, also quick question. What does the backslash mean when you're in the for your testing output? Like when you see
Where
the
is
string?
where is the testing output? I don't see it. Sorry.
Testing out the backslash, like,
In here. Yeah. Okay. So open a tab, Keenan. Open a tab.
oh, sorry.
Yeah. Open a tab. Just type man, MAN, space. You got a space there? I can't see a space.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Are you on a 4K monitor?
It's I think it's 1440.
Wow. Even then, the font is so tiny. All right. So man space sdiff, SSDIFF. Right. Enter. Okay. Just click the first one, maybe. All right. That tells you what every one of those symbols mean.
What were you asking about, Van? What symbol?
A forward slash. I think.
Oh, sorry, no, I can wait a little longer.
I think he said forward slash.
It was a question about my my own thing. I didn't.
Oh, these are the options. The output, sdiff output. What we need is man page further down. Maybe they show you what the output is supposed to. No. I go back to your Google search and say sdiff output. Output. Not this one. I think you got the same page again. Go back. I think sdiff line manual line. One of those should tell you. Yeah, there you go. Does it say what the difference is? The forward slash should be there further down there. No? There you go. I think it's in there. I can't see it because each character is like 3 pixels for me. But I'm pretty sure it's in there. If it's not here, just Google interpreting sdiff output. You'll get like a ton of pages. Okay. Interpreting sdiff output will give you 100 hits. This is a man page written more for Unix programmers. Just say interpreting sdiff output, maybe written more for beginning programmers. Okay, now you'll get human readable pages. Okay, yeah. Yeah, any of those I think should be human readable.
Oh, well, this looks like it's for.
Oh, I see. Okay, not that one, not SPDiff. No, SDiff. Oh, maybe you got to say Linux SDiff or Unix SDiff or something like that. Oh, SDiff is not the first word. Oh, but make SDiff the first word, because when Google searches, if it cannot do NLP, it'll weight words according to the order of appearance, I think, on the search. Okay. All right. Enter.
I should probably put interpretation after output now that I think about it.
Yeah, SDiff output interpretation. Yeah.
maybe here.
Yeah.
Uh,
For beginners, right? So I'm pretty sure that's a tutorial, right? They're going to tell you everything about SDF, but maybe some other one would produce less, provide less. Isn't it? They got a whole tutorial on SDF?
yeah, do you want me to send this link in chat?
Okay, all right. Maybe you'll find something that's less verbose, right? On the previous page. Another hit, not this one. This seems like a, Hey, Kylie, you're still here? Oh, no, she's gone. Okay. No, some other hit, not this hit
I
at all.
think something else.
Yeah, these look like,
Here, wait, let me
message
look
boards.
up SDF. You said backslash, right?
I think you said for maybe one of those. But anyway, I'm going to leave this in your hands, okay, guys?
Oh, here. I like this, or
I don't know. I can't see. Hey,
Here, let me
Keenan,
zoom
I
in.
can't read.
Sorry.
Okay, this is like 2 pixel characters. Other than everything that's.
can you
bold, I
read
can't
now?
see.
I zoomed in. It might just be the way I'm screen sharing. Can you see it better now?
Yeah, now I can see. Escape characters are used to
Like
remove-
this.
No.
It said
Okay, all right. Let me do a Google. Let me do a quick Google search, and I'll share the page with you. Maybe we're not using the right terms. Hang on. Interpreting output.
It says a non-quoted backslash is used as an escape character in Bash. It preserves the literal value of the next character that follows with the exception of new line. If a new line character appears immediately after the backslash.
Oh, this is a great. Yeah. Okay, this is
It
a
marks
great
the
one. I'm gonna paste it.
continuation of a line when it is longer than the width of the terminal. The backslash is removed from the input stream and is effectively ignored.
Yeah.
Does that help, Van?
Yeah. By the way, I pasted a link into chat, guys. That is a very that's the first hit that came up from me, but it looks very, very human friendly with lots and lots of examples and explanations of each of the symbols. Thank you, Keenan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for my quest submission, should I just leave it and then?
Yeah.
you'll
No. You
email
can
me
go
or-
ahead. Whatever you're doing, you can do. I got K-Bug.
Okay. Oh, well, let me submit it with Kbug right now.
Do that, and
Should
then
I
you
put it
can,
on? Should I
do
put
whatever you want.
Kbug on all 3 files?
No, just one.
Just draw cat.
And make sure you don't have your student ID everywhere else. Okay.
Okay.
There
Well,
shouldn't be
let
conflict
me.
in IDs. There should-
I'll just put it on so I can get rid of my student ID on them. Kbug.
Okay. Good then, everybody.
Let's see.
All right. In fact, I think.
So I
it's
got a
done.
question.
Yeah, sure. Ashwat. Was it? Ben.
Oh yeah, so it was just a question between the completely upright brackets and the slanted brackets for when you submit your code. And we're supposed to be looking at what
Upright
comes out to
brackets.
see if there's any errors. And I just wanted to
Sorry,
clarify. Yeah.
Upright brackets and slanted brackets.
Well, yeah, so we submit the code, and let's say, for instance, there's like a couple spaces in the a white space in the draw cat thing. So we don't really see anything, but the code picked up that there's a couple spaces.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can use SDiff, that manual page where it says SDiff. You can find it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
so
see
like-
invisible things. You can see invisible things with SDiff.
Oh, okay, cool. It's just that when we submit the code to the questing website to see if we can get max points or anything, and there's that, the upright bracket. Is it an upright bracket?
Upright
or
is
just
completely
a
different.
vertical bar? Was that?
Upright is completely different. Yeah, I think something like that. There's some, it's, if you read SDiff, it'll tell you, but it's very easy to interpret. Upright is completely different. Left means there's a new line here, no new line there. That means there's a new line here, no new line here. And then that means one character difference or something like that. Okay, you can find out.
Okay, because when I did input the code though, for Schrodinger, it said it had the this bar, the angled bar, I think it was like a backslash, and I was fairly certain I did not misspell the word Schrodinger, and I don't think.
Yeah, that means that's something you don't see. Maybe there's a space missing or a new line missing or something. You got to find out.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Professor, also when I go to check like my trophies, so I was just checking my trophies to see if maybe it went through, but it just wasn't showing. It shows actually 0 trophies on that quest.
Then
So
you
I don't
didn't have
even-
your student ID there.
Huh?
If you had your student ID, it will show you your student ID. It will show.
No, so I submit it with my student ID and it says like that I've done it and I have gotten trophies in the past and it's gone up.
Oh,
I don't know.
no. Maybe you got it before January 1st.
I don't think so. I
No?
don't know.
All right, submit again. And if you don't see your trophies, let me know.
Well, I think because on the
Let me see
quest
if K-Bug
page-
is there. Because if your student
yeah,
ID didn't
check-
work,
check
K-Bug
if
also.
K-Bug- Yeah, let me see. Because I think, I don't know if it's like processing the code. Like, I think it might
No,
just
no,
be
it
like,
does everything. So
Yeah,
K-Bug,
yeah.
K is all uppercase?
it's capital K, lowercase b-u-g.
All right, there, I see a joke-loving J, 0 points.
So it's reading as 0 points, but is that?
No,
An
no,
issue with
that's
my-
because that's because of this bug.
Okay,
Yeah. So is that what you mean? You're saying you're
yeah,
just
so
saying
it's
zero?
just saying I have
Yeah,
0
that's,
points.
I'll take a look at
Okay.
this. Okay, I'll take a
Okay.
look at this.
All right, because when I'm running it on, I've been testing it on online GDB. I need to figure out.
Why
if
isn't
I-
Tiger showing up? You don't have a Tiger. You just got J. Oh, that's K-Bug. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you should
K-Bug.
have 1 point. You should have 1 point for Tiger though.
I got like 0.917 on it or
Yeah,
something.
but whatever. It should show on /Q.
Yes, that does show up. That does
All right,
show
all
up.
right, cool. No worries.
Okay. All right.
All right, great. I'll take off now, and maybe a little while later I'll take a look at that Kenan problem.
Okay.
Thank you guys for attending class today, and
right.
I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for helping me figure this out.
No worries. Okay, but ideally, if this is figured out on Reddit, even if I was the one who was answering
Yeah.
it, lots of
I'll-
students.
I'll post about it after we get it all figured out, and I'll explain in case anybody has it in the future.
Great. All right, thank you, Kenan. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
Bye, Professor.